What's up, YouTube? So this is just gonna be a video about my experience with using salt treatment with no heat on an ick infestation. So before anything else, I would like to say I'm sorry if I haven't been uploading a lot of videos lately. I've been busy with work and I've been busy with school as well. But right now, let's talk about my experience with ick. Before the December ends, before December 2017 ends, I decided I would buy myself a new angelfish. Well, a new set of angelfish, and I decided to go to San Francisco and buy 4 wild caught angels. Um, Let me see if I can find them. This one. Oh, they're still juveniles. That one. Yeah, so I bought 4 of them. And my mistake is that I didn't quarantine them. And that's a mistake by itself already. I did the drip method and I took out some of the water from the fish tank they were in, but eventually dumped the water from the old fish tank that they were in from the fish store and dumped it in here, and that's another mistake. So I paid for it. The next few days I saw some scratching on the driftwood, on the rocks, also on the on the sand, and I wasn't quite scared at first yet, just because whenever I do water changes, the rose line shark would do that, and at that time it was the first fish to do it. They were the first fishes to do it, and so what happened is, after a few days, I saw some spots on the Rominos tetras and also on the angels, and I'm like, okay, this is definitely ick. Um, so I did that. I did some research. I didn't want to put copper medication in the tank just because I do have snails here and I don't want to kill them. Um, I didn't want to do the malachite green just because I don't like to stain the glass, if ever, and stain the rocks. So I avoided that. And I can't raise the temperature high enough on this tank just because this tank excuse me, this tank is running outside the house before the garden. So this tank, if you walk in the house, you'll see it's outside. So the temperature here excuse me, the temperature here is already hard to maintain, and having that, I don't want to risk raising the temperature so high and then just depending on that, because I'm not even sure if I can reach the temperature it needs to kill the ick. So I read more and found about the salt method, and I did have a little bit of concern at first because I do have Cory catfishes in here. I do have 5 Cory catfish and 1 farlowella in there, and this is a planted tank as well. So doing that, it's kind of risky. I didn't really want to kill my Corys. I love those fishes, and I think they're really awesome fishes. They keep the sand clean, and yeah, I would do everything not to kill them. But if I just let the ick go, then everyone else will get affected. So I started off with dosing 10 gallon of the water. I got a bucket, and I put gallon per one teaspoon per gallon on a bucket. I dissolved that salt, aquarium salt, into the bucket, and all throughout the day I started gradually putting that dissolved solution into the water. A few days after, I started seeing more fishes have spots, and also I started seeing clamping on the fins of the wild caught angels. This one in particular, that guy's fins, it won't open at all like that. It opened like that, but like when it was infected, it wouldn't open. And I was so scared, because I do love these fishes, and this is the first time I've had angel fishes, and I was thinking like the egg is going to ruin it for me, but after a few more days, I started seeing red on the base of the fins of the veil tails. You see those veil tails, that veil tail right there, these guys, they have a red on the pectoral fins, and I'm thinking that might be a secondary infection caused by ick, but I still kept dosing the salt solution in there. The Corys doesn't seem to be affected. I noticed though that they were kind of slow and sluggish, but I'm thinking that's maybe because of the slight difference in the salinity, but I'm more concerned that it's hurting them. After a few days though, I saw some improvements on the fishes. The fishes starting to be more active again. The clamping has gone. The red on the base of the fins have gone, and like a few days later, the last spot on the fish was gone. And after that, I did some water change. I did some vacuuming on the sand. The vacuuming is kind of tricky just because this sand will get sucked up. So what I did is like I would get something long. I would get a tongue, and then I would just agitate the sand, and then whatever debris is lifted, I would suck that out with the siphon, and I would replace the water in the tank. I would put the solution back on how much water I took out. For example, I did the 25% water change, and this is 180 gallon, and 180 divided by 4 is gonna be 45. So after I take out approximately 45 gallon of the water, I would make another solution for 45 gallon, and then fill that water here, and then dump that solution back here gradually as I was doing before. A few days after the spots have gone, I still kept doing it. No effect on the Corys that I've seen. They were still eating a lot. They were still very active, and I think the key was to do it gradually, and not to like do it, like fast. Like just dump it in there. Don't do that. Also, it's a good story with the Corys. The plants is a different story. Um, I do have this plant. This is a species of a pongeton. It didn't really do really well. After a week of doing it, it started melting, and needless to say, right now it's recovering because I'm gradually taking out the salt on this tank. So Also the pothos plants, if you're gonna see, they're doing really well on that, on top. But the roots, when I was dosing it with salt, they were dying. The Amazon sword, it's not doing really well. I mean, it didn't die off, but it kind of did turn yellow. Some of the leaves, they are yellow, and I probably should take that out. The Brazilian pennyworth though is like really tough. This plant is amazing. Didn't even budge. Um, so yeah, I mean, like there's mixed experiences that I've read on forums about using salt, but it worked for me personally. If the plants died, it wouldn't have mattered to me that much, just because they'll I know they will recover. But I'm more worried about the Corys and the farlowella. But as per my experience, there's no ill effect on them as long as you do it gradually. So yeah, I mean, that is my take on using salt and no heat method on a planted tank with corydoras and catfish. And yeah, if you like this video, just feel free to hit it up. Just feel free to hit that like button or subscribe button, and I'll be posting more videos. My next video is probably gonna be a countdown of my favorite YouTubers. It's gonna be more personal, but yeah, hope you like this video, and fish out.